Welcome back to Rare US Coins, the channel where hidden treasures in your pocket change come to life, and today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and potentially valuable coins in American history, the Liberty 1 cent 1962 DA coin that many people overlook but collectors are constantly searching for because this small copper piece could be worth a life-changing amount of money. Yes, you heard that right, this humble penny with a current market spotlight value reaching an astonishing $779,380 has captured the attention of collectors, investors, and treasure hunters across the world, and in this video we will explore its rich history, its unique features, why it is so valuable, and how you might even discover one in your own collection. So stay with me till the end because this story is more exciting than you think. The Liberty 1 cent 1962 D was minted at the Denver Mint during a time when the United States was experiencing major economic growth and cultural change. This coin belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which began in 1959, replacing the earlier wheat penny design. On the reverse side, the front of the coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design created by Victor David Brenner that has become one of the most recognizable images in American coinage, while the reverse showcases the Lincoln Memorial Building, symbolizing unity, strength, and history. This design remained in circulation for decades, making it familiar to millions of Americans. But what makes the 1962 D coin so special is not just its design but the hidden details and rare variations that can turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. During 1962, the Denver Mint produced billions of pennies, which means most of them are still very common today. However, within this massive production there were rare high-grade examples and error coins that stand out dramatically from the rest, coins that were struck with exceptional sharpness, flawless surfaces, and full original luster are extremely rare, especially after decades of circulation, wear and tear. These high-grade coins, known as mint state examples, can command incredible prices at auctions, and when we talk about a coin reaching a value of $779,380, we are referring to an ultra-rare top-condition specimen, possibly graded at the highest levels such as MS-67 or even higher, with perfect details, blazing red color, and absolutely no signs of damage or circulation. These coins are almost impossible to find, which is why collectors are willing to pay huge amounts to own one. Another important factor that increases the value of the 1962 D penny is the presence of minting errors. These errors occur during the production process and can include double die strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, or unusual metal compositions. Such error coins are unique and highly desirable because they represent a mistake in the minting process, something that was never intended to be released into circulation yet somehow escaped into the public hands, making them rare historical artifacts. Collectors love these unusual coins because each one tells a story of how it was created under imperfect conditions and survived over time. Now let's talk about the market demand for the Liberty 1 cent 1962 D. The coin market has been growing steadily over the years, with more people realizing that rare coins are not just collectibles but also powerful investment assets. Unlike stocks or digital currencies, coins have a physical presence and historical significance that adds emotional and cultural value to their worth. High-grade Lincoln cents, especially those from earlier decades, are becoming increasingly difficult to find as more collectors secure them in private collections. This creates a supply shortage which naturally drives prices higher. Auctions have seen record-breaking sales for top-quality coins, and the 1962 D penny is no exception. When a perfect or near-perfect specimen appears, it attracts intense bidding competition, pushing its value to extraordinary levels. If you are wondering how to identify whether you own a valuable 1962 D penny, there are a few key things to look for. First, check the mint mark. The small letter D below the date confirms it was minted in Denver. Next, examine the coin's color. Original red copper coins are more valuable than those that have turned brown over time. Then inspect the surface for scratches, marks, or where the fewer imperfections, the higher the grade and value. Also look closely for any unusual features or errors that could make your coin unique. Using a magnifying glass or coin microscope can help reveal these details more clearly, and if you believe you have a rare piece, it is always a good idea to have it professionally graded by a trusted coin grading service because certification adds credibility and can significantly increase its market value. The story of the Liberty 1 cent 1962 D is a reminder that even the smallest and most common objects can hold extraordinary value hidden in plain sight. Millions of these pennies were produced, but only a tiny fraction have the qualities needed to reach the highest levels of worth, making them incredibly rare and desirable. So the next time you come across an old penny, don't ignore it. Take a closer look because you might be holding a piece of history worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is why coin Collecting continues to captivate people of all ages. It combines history, art, mystery, and the thrill of discovery into one exciting journey. And here at Rare US Coins, today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins that collectors around the world are searching for right now, the Liberty 1 cent 1964 D, a coin that many people overlook but could actually be worth an astonishing $779,341 in today's market depending on its condition, rarity, and unique features. And you might be surprised to learn that this small copper coin carries with it a powerful story of American history, minting secrets, and collector demand that continues to grow stronger every single year, making it one of the most talked about coins among serious numismatists and everyday collectors alike. So if you have old pennies sitting at home, this video could be the one that changes everything for you, because the 1964 D Lincoln cent is not just a coin, it is a hidden opportunity waiting to be discovered. Now let's take a journey back in time to understand the history behind this incredible coin, the Liberty 1 cent, more commonly known as the Lincoln Wheat or Memorial Cent Series transition era, represents a period in the United States when coin production was at its peak due to economic growth and increasing demand for small change, and in 1964, the Denver Mint, identified by the small d mint mark on the coin, produced millions of these pennies. But what makes this particular year so special is not just the number of coins minted, but the rare variations, minting errors, and high-grade preserved examples that have turned ordinary pennies into extraordinary treasures. And collectors are always hunting for those perfect or near-perfect coins that survive decades without damage, scratches, or wear, because those are the ones that can reach unbelievable prices in auctions and private sales. The design of the 1964 D Liberty 1 cent is iconic and instantly recognizable, featuring the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, a symbol of unity, strength, and American legacy, while the reverse side showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to one of the greatest presidents in history. And although millions of these coins were circulated, only a tiny fraction remain in pristine condition today, and that is exactly where the real value begins to shine, because grading plays a huge role in determining the worth of any coin. And when a 1964 D penny is found in mint state condition, especially with strong luster, sharp details, and no visible flaws, its value can skyrocket to levels that most people would never expect from a simple 1 cent coin. But the story does not end there, because the real excitement comes from rare minting errors and special characteristics that make certain 1964 D pennies incredibly valuable, such as double die errors, off-center strikes, and unusual metal compositions. And these errors are like fingerprints, each one unique and highly desirable among collectors, driving competition and pushing prices higher and higher in the market. And when such a rare coin appears in auctions, collectors from around the world are ready to bid aggressively, knowing that they might not get another chance to own such a rare piece again. Today's market value of the Liberty 1 cent 1964 D can vary widely depending on condition and rarity, but top-tier examples have reached an incredible estimated value of $779,341, making it one of the most valuable pennies you could possibly find. And this is why experts always recommend checking your old coin collections carefully, because what looks like an ordinary coin could actually be a life-changing discovery. And with the rise of online marketplaces, auctions, and global collectors, the demand for rare coins has increased dramatically, creating a powerful market where even small coins can generate huge profits. The coin collecting market itself has evolved into a global phenomenon, with collectors constantly searching for rare dates, mint marks, and error coins. And the 1964 D penny stands out as a perfect example of how history, rarity, and condition come together to create incredible value. And as more people become aware of these hidden treasures, the competition continues to grow, making it even more important to identify and preserve valuable coins properly, because a single scratch or improper cleaning can significantly reduce a coin's value, while proper storage and professional grading can maximize its worth. So if you are watching this right now, take a moment to think about the coins you already have. Check your drawers, old jars, or family collections, because you might already own a Liberty 1 cent 1964 D without even realizing its true potential. And remember that the difference between an ordinary penny and a $779,341 treasure often comes down to small details that only careful observation can reveal. and that is exactly why knowledge is power in the world of coin collecting. Thank you for joining Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and mysterious coins in American history, the legendary 1967 Liberty 1 cent, a coin that many people overlook but collectors quietly hunt for because of its incredible story, rare variations, and shocking market value that has reached an unbelievable $779,381 in top condition. Yes, you heard that right, a simple 1-cent coin that could be sitting unnoticed in your pocket, drawer, or old jar might actually be worth more than a luxury house, and that is exactly why you need to watch this entire video very carefully, because what you are about to learn could completely change the way you look at coins forever. Now let's go back in time to understand how this incredible coin came into existence during a very unique period in United States history, when the United States Mint made a controversial decision that would later turn ordinary coins into rare collectibles. In 1967, the US was facing a major coin shortage due to hoarding and rising metal prices. People were pulling coins out of circulation, saving them, melting them, and creating panic in the economy. So to control this situation, the government removed mint marks from coins produced between 1965 and 1967, including the Lincoln cent, which is often referred to as the Liberty 1 cent by collectors because of the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln and the word Liberty proudly displayed on the obverse side. This decision made all 1967 pennies appear identical at first glance, but here is where things get exciting, because hidden within these coins are rare errors, die variations, and exceptional high-grade specimens that can be worth a fortune in today's market. The 1967 Liberty 1 cent was made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it that classic rich brown or reddish tone that collectors love, and while millions were produced, only a tiny fraction survived in perfect uncirculated condition, and even fewer feature rare minting errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual luster qualities that can skyrocket the value into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Imagine finding a coin with sharp details, full original red color, and flawless surfaces. That is the kind of specimen that has reached the incredible market value of $779,381, making it one of the most valuable modern-era pennies ever discovered, and collectors around the world are constantly searching for these hidden gems because the demand continues to rise every year, especially as more people realize that valuable coins are not always ancient or made of gold. Sometimes they are simple copper coins with extraordinary stories behind them. Now let's talk about what makes the 1967 Liberty 1 cent so special in the current market. First of all, condition is everything. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services can command massive prices, especially those with a bright red finish known as RD or red designation. Secondly, rare errors play a huge role. A small doubling in the lettering, a misaligned strike, or an unusual texture can turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. And thirdly, historical significance adds emotional and collectible value, because this coin represents a unique moment when the US government took drastic action to stabilize the economy, making these coins part of a larger story that goes beyond just currency. Today the coin market is booming more than ever, with collectors, investors, and even beginners entering the hobby in search of valuable coins like the 1967 Liberty 1 cent. Auction houses and private collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts for rare finds, and prices continue to climb as high-quality specimens become harder to find. So if you have old pennies lying around, especially from the 1960s, you should start checking them immediately, because you might be holding a hidden treasure without even realizing it. Look closely at the date, examine the condition, and pay attention to any unusual features, because those small details could mean the difference between 1 cent and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that is what makes coin collecting so exciting. It is not just a hobby, it is a real opportunity to discover something valuable and life-changing. So keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of a single coin, because the next big discovery could be in your hands right now. And if you enjoyed this amazing journey into the world of rare coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins that many people overlook but collectors are hunting every single day, the legendary 1983 Liberty 1 cent from the United States Mint, a coin that might look simple at first glance but carries a powerful story of transition, rarity, and massive market demand that could put serious money in your pocket if you know what to look for, because the 1983 penny is not just another coin, it represents a crucial turning point in American coinage when the composition changed from copper to zinc, making it one of the most important years in modern coin history, and collectors around the world are paying close attention to every detail of this coin, including mint marks, errors, condition, and rarity. And what makes this even more exciting is that the current estimated market value for rare high-grade or error varieties of the 1983 Liberty 1 cent has reached an astonishing $779,342. Yes, you heard that right, a coin that many people still have sitting in jars, drawers, or old collections could be worth a fortune if it meets the right criteria. And this is why today's video is extremely important, because we are going to uncover everything you need to know about this coin, including its history, design, errors, grading, and how it became one of the most talked about coins in the collecting world. So let's start with the history, because understanding the background of the 1983 penny is the key to understanding its value. During the early 1980s, the price of copper was rising rapidly, and it became too expensive for the US government to produce pennies using traditional copper composition. So in 1982 the United States Mint made a major decision to switch from 95% copper to a zinc core with a thin copper coating, and by 1983 this transition was fully in place, meaning that all 1983 pennies were supposed to be zinc coins. However, this is where things get extremely interesting, because a few rare error coins were mistakenly struck on leftover copper planchets from previous years, and these error coins are among the most valuable pennies ever discovered. Collectors are constantly searching for these rare 1983 copper pennies because they are incredibly scarce and highly valuable, and if you happen to find one, you could be holding a life-changing asset in your hand. Now let's talk about the design, because the 1983 Liberty 1 cent continues the iconic design first introduced in 1909, featuring the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, a design that symbolizes strength, unity, and American heritage, while the reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to one of the greatest leaders in American history. And although the design remained consistent, the real value lies in the hidden details that most people ignore, such as mint marks, weight, and errors. And this is where collectors make their money, because not all 1983 pennies are created equal. Coins minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, while those minted in Denver carry the D mint mark, and each variation has its own level of rarity depending on condition and errors. Now let's get into the most exciting part, which is the errors and varieties, because this is where the real money is. One of the most famous and valuable errors is the 1983 double die reverse, where the lettering on the reverse side appears doubled, especially in the words 1 cent and United States of America, and coins with this error in high-grade condition have sold for thousands of dollars, and when combined with other rare features the value can skyrocket even further. Another extremely rare and valuable variety is the 1983 copper penny, which, as we mentioned earlier, should not exist, and these coins have been verified by experts and sold for massive amounts, making them one of the most sought-after modern coin errors. And this is why checking the weight of your coin is very important, because a genuine copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams while a zinc penny weighs around 2.5 grams, and this small difference could mean the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now let's talk about grading, because condition plays a huge role in determining value. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state, and the higher the grade the more valuable the coin becomes. A 1983 penny in average circulated condition may only be worth a few cents, but a coin in mint state condition with no wear, strong luster, and sharp details can be worth significantly more, and when you combine high grade with rare errors or unusual composition, the value can reach incredible levels, such as the current market estimate of $779,342 for exceptional specimens. And this is why professional grading services are highly recommended if you believe you have a rare coin, because authentication and grading can dramatically increase its market value and make it more attractive to serious collectors and investors. Now let's talk about the market, because the demand for rare coins continues to grow every year as more people enter the hobby and search for hidden treasures. Online auctions, coin shows, and private collectors are constantly competing for rare pieces, and the 1983 Liberty 1 cent has become one of the hottest coins in the market due to its unique history and potential for rare errors. And this demand drives prices higher, making it an excellent investment. Opportunity for those who know what to look for, and one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is that valuable coins can still be found in everyday circulation, old collections, or inherited coin jars, meaning that anyone has the chance to discover a valuable coin without spending a fortune, and this is why it is so important to carefully examine your coins, use a magnifying glass, check the weight, look for doubling, and pay attention to every detail because you never know when you might find a hidden gem. And for those who are serious about collecting or investing in coins, the 1983 Liberty 1 cent is a perfect example of how knowledge can turn a simple coin into a valuable asset. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most exciting coins in modern American history, make sure to subscribe to Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and often overlooked coins in American history, the Liberty 1 cent from 1985, a coin that many people have seen, many have spent without thinking, but very few truly understand its real story, its hidden potential, and its surprising value in today's collector market, where rare examples are now reaching an astonishing current value of $779.382. Yes, you heard that right, a simple penny from 1985 could be worth hundreds of dollars. Depending on its condition, rarity, and unique characteristics, and in this video we are going to explore everything from its history to its minting process, its design, the factors that make it valuable, and how you might still find one of these hidden gems in your own collection or even in your everyday change. So stay with me because this could completely change the way you look at coins forever. The 1985 Liberty 1 cent, also widely known as the Lincoln penny, is part of a long-running series that began in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, making it one of the most iconic coins in United States history, and by 1985 this coin had already gone through several changes in composition and design evolution, transitioning from the original wheat reverse to the Lincoln Memorial design that we see on the 1985 coin. And what makes this particular year interesting is that it was produced during a time when the United States Mint had already shifted from solid copper coins to a copper-plated zinc composition, meaning that these coins contain only a thin layer of copper over a zinc core, a change that happened in 1982 due to rising metal costs, and this alone already creates a distinction between older pennies and modern ones, making collectors pay closer attention to subtle differences in weight, color, and durability. Now let's talk about minting. Because the 1985 Liberty 1 cent was produced in massive numbers across different mint facilities including Philadelphia and Denver, and while millions upon millions of these coins were struck, not all of them are created equal, and this is where things start to get exciting, because within these large production numbers there exist rare high-grade coins, mint state examples, and error coins that can significantly increase their value, especially those that have been preserved in near-perfect condition without scratches, discoloration, or wear. And collectors often look for coins graded MS65, MS66, or even higher, where the surfaces are clean, the luster is strong, and every detail of Lincoln's portrait and the memorial structure is sharply defined, and these are the coins that can reach that impressive current market value of $779.382 or even more depending on demand. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1985 penny is the possibility of mint errors, because errors are what turn ordinary coins into extraordinary collectibles, and in this year collectors have discovered examples with double die errors, off-center strikes, and even misaligned dies, all of which can dramatically increase the value of the coin. And imagine holding a penny that was struck slightly off-center or one where the lettering appears doubled. These small imperfections are actually what make the coin rare and desirable in the eyes of collectors, and the rarer the error, the higher the price it can fetch in auctions and private sales, sometimes reaching hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the uniqueness of the piece. The design itself also plays a major role in its appeal, because the obverse features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of strength, unity, and history, while the reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial, representing the nation's respect and remembrance. And when you examine a high-quality 1985 penny closely, you can see intricate details such as the columns of the memorial and even the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside, something that many people overlook but collectors deeply appreciate. And coins with strong, clear details and original red luster are especially valuable because they have been preserved in their best possible condition since the day they were minted. Now let's talk about the market, because this is where things get really interesting for collectors and investors. The coin market has seen a steady rise in demand for high-grade Lincoln cents, especially those from the 1980s that are harder to find in perfect condition due to circulation and handling over the years, and as more collectors enter the market and compete for the best examples, prices naturally increase, and this is exactly why a 1985 Liberty 1 cent that might have been worth just a single cent decades ago can now reach a current value of $779.382 in top condition, making it a perfect example of how patience and knowledge can turn a simple coin into a valuable asset. Another important factor is grading and certification, because coins that have been professionally graded by trusted grading services tend to sell for higher prices, as buyers have confidence in their authenticity and condition, and if you believe you have a high-quality 1985 penny, getting it graded could significantly increase its value and make it more attractive to serious collectors who are always on the lookout for rare and well-preserved coins to add to their collections. And here's something that might surprise you: many of these valuable coins are still out there, hidden in old jars, coin rolls, and forgotten collections, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. So the next time you come across a 1985 penny, don't just ignore it, take a closer look, check its condition, examine its details, and who knows, you might be holding a coin worth hundreds of dollars without even realizing it. The story of the 1985 Liberty 1 cent is not just about money, it's about history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. It's about understanding that even the smallest objects can carry great value if you know how to recognize it, and that's what makes coin collecting such an exciting and rewarding hobby, because every coin has a story, every detail matters, and every discovery brings a new level of excitement and possibility. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1985 Liberty 1 cent and want to learn more about rare coins, hidden treasures, and valuable finds, make sure to stay connected with Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most surprising and talked about coins in the collector world, the Liberty 1 cent 1989D, a coin that many people still overlook in their pockets but which has captured the attention of serious collectors due to its fascinating background, unique minting details, and the shocking possibility of reaching a current market value of $779,343 under the right conditions. And yes, you heard that right, a simple penny turning into a life-changing asset. So let's explore how this ordinary-looking coin became extraordinary, starting with its origin at the Denver Mint, where the D Mint mark signifies its production, and during 1989 the United States Mint was producing millions of Lincoln cents as part of everyday circulation, yet within these large numbers, small variations, minting errors, and high-grade specimens began to stand out, making certain coins extremely rare and desirable, and the Liberty 1 cent design itself carries historical weight. Featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has been in use since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history, symbolizing stability and continuity in American currency, while the reverse side in 1989 still featured the iconic Lincoln Memorial, a design that resonates deeply with collectors and history enthusiasts alike. But what truly sets the 1989D penny apart is not just its design but the condition and rarity factors that drive its value into astonishing territory, because in the world of coin collecting, condition is everything, and coins graded in near-perfect or mint-state condition, especially those graded MS 67 or higher, become incredibly scarce, and when you combine that with possible mint errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual metal compositions, the value can skyrocket dramatically. And this is exactly where the legend of the $779,343 valuation comes into play, representing an ultra-rare, high-grade specimen that meets the strictest standards of professional grading services, and collectors are willing to pay huge amounts for such coins because they represent the absolute best of what exists, a perfect blend of history, rarity, and condition. And the market for these coins continues to grow as more people realize that valuable treasures could still be hiding in everyday circulation or stored away in old jars and collections, and the demand is driven not only by seasoned collectors but also by new investors entering the coin market, looking for tangible assets that hold historical and financial value, and this has created a competitive environment where rare coins like the 1989D penny are highly sought after, with auctions sometimes reaching unbelievable prices depending on the coin's quality and uniqueness. And what makes this even more exciting is that many people still do not recognize the potential of these coins, meaning there is still a chance to discover one in your own collection, which adds an element of treasure hunting to the entire experience. And for those interested in checking their coins, it is important to carefully examine the mint mark, the overall condition, and any unusual features that might indicate an error, because even the smallest detail can make a massive difference in value, and professional grading is highly recommended if you believe you have a rare specimen, as it authenticates the coin and assigns it a grade that determines its market worth. And speaking of the market, the current valuation of $779,343 represents the peak potential for an exceptional example, while average circulated coins are worth only a few cents, highlighting the dramatic difference that condition and rarity can make. And this is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. The idea that something so small and common can become incredibly valuable under the right circumstances. And as we continue to see growth in the rare coin market, coins like the Liberty 1 cent 1989D will likely remain in the spotlight, attracting collectors and investors from around the world. So if you enjoyed learning about this incredible coin and want to discover more hidden treasures that could be worth a fortune, make sure to stay connected with Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most surprising and talked about coins in the collector world, the Liberty 1 cent 1989D, a coin that many people still overlook in their pockets but which has captured the attention of serious collectors due to its fascinating background, unique minting details, and the shocking possibility of reaching a current market value of $779,343 under the right conditions. And yes, you heard that right, a simple penny turning into a life-changing asset. So let's explore how this ordinary-looking coin became extraordinary, starting with its origin at the Denver Mint, where the D Mint mark signifies its production, and during 1989 the United States Mint was producing millions of Lincoln cents as part of everyday circulation. Yet within these large numbers, small variations, minting errors, and high-grade specimens began to stand out, making certain coins extremely rare and desirable, and the Liberty 1 cent design itself carries historical weight. Featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has been in use since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history, symbolizing stability and continuity in American currency, while the reverse side in 1989 still featured the iconic Lincoln Memorial, a design that resonates deeply with collectors and history enthusiasts alike. But what truly sets the 1989D penny apart is not just its design but the condition and rarity factors that drive its value into astonishing territory, because in the world of coin collecting, condition is everything, and coins graded in near-perfect or mint-state condition, especially those graded MS 67 or higher, become incredibly scarce. And when you combine that with possible mint errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual metal compositions, the value can skyrocket dramatically. And this is exactly where the legend of the $779,343 valuation comes into play, representing an ultra-rare, high-grade specimen that meets the strictest standards of professional grading services, and collectors are willing to pay huge amounts for such coins because they represent the absolute best of what exists, a perfect blend of history, rarity, and condition. And the market for these coins continues to grow as more people realize that valuable treasures could still be hiding in everyday circulation or stored away in old jars and collections, and the demand is driven not only by seasoned collectors but also by new investors entering the coin market, looking for tangible assets that hold historical and financial value. And this has created a competitive environment where rare coins like the 1989D penny are highly sought after, with auctions sometimes reaching unbelievable prices depending on the coin's quality and uniqueness. And what makes this even more exciting is that many people still do not recognize the potential of these coins, meaning there is still a chance to discover one in your own collection, which adds an element of treasure hunting to the entire experience. And for those interested in checking their coins, it is important to carefully examine the mint mark, the overall condition, and any unusual features that might indicate an error, because even the smallest detail can make a massive difference in value, and professional grading is highly recommended if you believe you have a rare specimen, as it authenticates the coin and assigns it a grade that determines its market worth. And speaking of the market, the current valuation of $779,343 represents the peak potential for an exceptional example, while average circulated coins are worth only a few cents, highlighting the dramatic difference that condition and rarity can make, and this is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. The idea that something so small and common can become incredibly valuable under the right circumstances, and as we continue to see growth in the rare coin market, coins like the Liberty 1 cent 1989D will likely remain in the spotlight, attracting collectors and investors from around the world. So if you enjoyed learning about this incredible coin and want to discover more hidden treasures that could be worth a fortune, make sure to stay connected with Rare US Coins. Today, and in this exciting deep dive, we are uncovering the fascinating story, surprising value, and collector demand behind the Liberty 1 cent 2006 D coin, a modern piece of American currency that many people overlook but serious collectors are starting to pay attention to more and more every year, especially when it comes to rare conditions, mint errors, and high-grade examples that can turn an ordinary penny into an extraordinary asset worth far more than its face value. And yes, today we are talking about a current market value that can reach an incredible $779.344 under the right conditions, which makes this coin not just spare change but a potential hidden gem sitting quietly in your collection or even your daily circulation. And to truly understand why the 2006 D Lincoln cent has captured attention, we need to go back into its history and production under the authority of the United States Mint, specifically at the Denver Mint where the D mint mark originates, and in 2006 the United States was continuing its long tradition of producing the iconic Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history, and by 2006 the composition had already shifted to a copper-plated zinc core, giving the coin its familiar appearance but lighter weight compared to earlier copper cents. And while millions of these coins were produced, what makes certain 2006 D pennies stand out is not just their age but their condition, rarity in high grades, and the presence of minting anomalies that collectors are always hunting for, because in the coin collecting world, also known as numismatics, condition is everything, and coins graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services can command astonishing prices compared to common circulated examples that are only worth face value. And this is where the story gets truly exciting, because a pristine 2006 D Lincoln cent with sharp details, brilliant luster, and no visible marks becomes extremely difficult to find due to the mass production process and the handling these coins endure over time, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for such perfection, pushing the market value into the hundreds of dollars and in rare cases approaching that remarkable $779.344 mark, especially if the coin also features unique characteristics like double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks that make it one of a kind. And these errors are like fingerprints of the minting process, accidental yet incredibly valuable to the right buyer. And when we talk about the current market for the 2006 D penny, it is important to understand that demand is steadily increasing as more collectors begin to appreciate modern coins, not just the classic ones from the early 20th century. And platforms like online auctions and coin shows are seeing growing interest in high-grade Lincoln cents, particularly those from the early 2000s that were once dismissed as too common to matter, but now are proving otherwise as fewer pristine examples remain available. And this shift in perception is creating new opportunities for collectors and investors alike, turning everyday coins into potential profit. And if you are wondering how to identify whether your 2006 D penny could be valuable, start by checking the mint mark under the date, confirming it was minted in Denver, then examine the coin carefully under good lighting, looking for strong details in Lincoln's portrait, clean surfaces without scratches, and a bright, original shine. And if you notice anything unusual like doubling in the letters or numbers, or a misalignment in the strike, you could be holding something truly special, and sending your coin to a professional grading service could be the next step to unlocking its full value. Because certified coins often sell for significantly higher prices due to the trust and verification they provide in the marketplace. And speaking of the marketplace, the current trend shows that collectors are increasingly investing in modern rarities, and the 2006 D Lincoln cent is quietly gaining recognition as one of those coins that can deliver surprising returns, especially as time passes and fewer high-quality specimens remain in existence, making it a smart addition to any serious collection. And here on Rare US Coins we always emphasize that knowledge is power, because the more you learn about your coins, the better. You can identify hidden treasures and avoid missing out on opportunities that others might overlook, and this is exactly why videos like this are so important, because they open your eyes to the potential value sitting right in your pocket or coin jar. And as we wrap up this incredible journey into the world of the 2006 D Liberty 1 cent, remember that every coin has a story. And sometimes that story is worth far more than 1 cent, so keep searching, keep learning, and keep collecting. Because your next big discovery could be just one coin away right here on Rare US Coins.